Allison Ayler. I'm the director of Concept Art Gallery here in Pittsburgh. And we're just thrilled to be hosting NCECA in our city, in our fair city. And I'm even more thrilled to be the person that was tapped to introduce Vanessa German. I have had the extreme privilege of representing Vanessa's work for about 5 years at my gallery. And I consider myself incredibly lucky to convey her work to the world, but even more fortunate to know her as a human being. Those of you who know Vanessa and know her work will understand this. For those of you who will come to know Vanessa's work tonight, will consider yourself lucky, because tonight you get to witness art with a capital A being made on this stage. Vanessa really needs no introduction, but these types of events call for a little bit of formality, so here's what you need to know. Vanessa German is an award-winning, multidisciplinary artist and performer. She's a playwright, a sculptor, a painter, a writer, an activist, and an educator. Her work has been shown in museums around the world, including the Wadsworth Atheneum in Connecticut, the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Arkansas, the American Visionary Art Museum in Baltimore, the Holter Museum in Helena, Montana, and the Mattress Factory Museum here in Pittsburgh. And that exhibition, by the way, is celebrating the Mattress Factory's 40th anniversary. It's up now, and if you've not seen it, get there before it closes on April 8th. You won't be sorry. Vanessa has recently been awarded a United States Artist Grant, which puts her in the company of many of the greatest living artists of our day. She also received the 2015 Louis Comfort Tiffany Foundation Grant and the 2017 Jacob Lawrence Award from the American Academy of Arts and Letters. Those are the achievements we list in her bio. But the truly remarkable thing about Vanessa is it's not an exaggeration to say she puts her whole soul into the making of her art. What results is powerful. Her work is beautiful and sometimes sad, expressive, and at times mysterious. Vanessa doesn't miss a thing. She's a citizen artist. She believes in the power of love. Her artwork makes weighty statements about our global insistence on placing people of color in a position of subservience and danger. But despite this, I'm struck by the persistent emergence of a joyous spirit in her work. I think you'll witness that tonight. It is my honor to share this small corner of the world with that spirit, and I am delighted to introduce you all to the amazing Vanessa German. Please welcome her.
I love you so much. Hi. Not is, are you high, but hello. I'm Vanessa. Hi, Black people. I do the thing where I walk into the room and I look for Black people's faces because it's oftentimes lonely to be a Black person in the arts. You go into spaces and you're one of very few people. So y'all be very welcoming to the Black people around you among the thousands of people who are here. I'm Vanessa, I'm an artist, and I make lots of kinds of art, as Allison told you. I love Allison so much. She is a really amazing friend. She challenges me, and she supports my work, and she supports my life, and she supports my being with her heart. How many of you are here with you're here with somebody who you love? Cool. So is somebody here with somebody that you would consider your best friend? Are you sitting next to this person? If you are, hold their hand and raise it up in the air. I'm a poet. I'm going to be performing poems for you today. I would like a pair of people who just raised their hands to consider coming up on stage with me. I'm going to ask you to come up on stage to give me a name, a color, and a power. So I'm going to freestyle a poem for you, friends who love each other, who have support with each other. I'm going to freestyle this poem. You're going to give me a name. It can be anybody's name, but you two should decide on it together. You should give me a color, any color that you want, but you should decide on it together, and you should give me a purpose. So when I say purpose, I want you to think about the power of art. I believe in the power of art, and I believe in the power of love, and I don't always distinguish between the two of those things. So I want you to think that if just by dint of this moment happening, of me freestyling a poem for two friends right now, that something real and tangible and something that it could defy the laws of gravity even, the laws of physics, but that something will happen when I make this poem for you. So you give me a name, a color, and a power. So I would like to have a pair of volunteers to come up and be the first people that I make a poem for. Is it y'all? Not, oh, they didn't even ask. They were like, it's us. Girl, get your hat. Come on. Come up onto the stage. There are stairs. Do what you want, though. Do what you want. Come on up. Where are y'all from? Oh, you're so cute. Look at you. I'm Vanessa. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? Julia? Nice to meet you. So y'all are friends? Are you special friends? Or? They are very cute. So, hi. It's wonderful to meet you. Are you nervous? A little bit? Okay. They're nervous a little bit. Does anyone in here sing? Can you come up, please? You'll be okay. He's going to sing for you. Oh, he's cute. Oh, you're strong, too. Did you see the way he just leapt up on? That wasn't even his stunt double. That was him. Oh, and he's wearing a butter leather jacket. Your mama is just proud.
Well, she bought it for me.
Is she here?
No.
Oh, good.
She's in Connecticut.
She's in Connecticut. What's your name?
Miguel.
Miguel, I'm Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
Can you sing in a language that isn't the language we're speaking in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, just one verse, though.
That's all we need. All we need is one verse. Okay. And this is, so just take a couple of deep breaths. And after you finish, I'm going to, wait, before you start, let me talk to them. And I'm going to raise my hand. I'm going to say when you start. Hi, I'm back. I wore a petticoat for you all. Thanks.
Do you have the pockets too?
I don't, because I made it and I don't know how to make pockets. So, can you give me your name, the name that you want for your piece? Decide together. They're discussing mixing their names together. He has given her the authority to make the choice, which is wise. As a
Lemony headstand.
say this again?
Lemony headstand.
Lemony headstand. That's her choice. And what's the color?
Turquoise.
He has again given her she has, thank you, turquoise. And what's the power? If something could happen just by dint of this moment and this poem and this time that we have together, I want you to take a deep breath first, and I want you to think. So if one of you has something that is very pressing that you want, then you get to say it. If the other person, if there's ambivalence, put the ambivalence aside and go with what you feel strongest, okay? So take a deep breath. All right. Telepathy? He wants the power of telepathy to happen. So can I ask a follow-up question? Is there a thought that you would like to move into the minds of people here? Come whisper it to me. But I think they can hear us. Okay, thank you, honey. Thank you. We're ready. You can start singing now.
Ay de mí, llorona, llorona de su celeste. Ay de mí,
Roma.
llorona de su celeste.
To rise and flow and take over. For how we come together on a Wednesday night. For two gorgeous and luminous friends who rose right up from their seats and took to the stage just the way my mother told me to move through this world. She said, don't ask for anybody's permission. If you need support, you can get it, but move by the turquoise stride of your own furious fire flow and agency. I believe in the power of people. I believe in the power of how we are all here together. We human beings, we 99.9% genetically identical, we beings of carbon, starshine, and glow. We don't actually need telepathy to know that we understand each other because we are each other. We are the clay, we are the water, we are the river, we are the nature, we are the entire constellation of miracles that makes up the capacity for your lungs to breathe in air, to extend to the corticoid bones of your shoulders so that you too could combine your fingers and hold your hands together and raise them up to stand, to say, yes, now is the time. Now is the time to move and to put friendship first. What would the day be like if all the decisions that we had to make revolved around the capacity of our beings to move forward with strength and with grace, with a friend by our side? Isn't it amazing how MIT just did that multi-billion-dollar study to tell us what we already know? That the pain goes by so much easier when you have someone next to you to hold your hand. That the healing comes somehow flowing from the heart and through the cells, into the limbs, into the arms, into the hands of friends. And that was me using my telepathy to tell everyone how lucky they are to be here in this place, in this room, with their friends. Thank you. Good. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming here. Have a seat. Oh, did I? No. Oh, that was like go back to your seat, not have a seat. I'm sorry, honey. That's gonna be on YouTube. Ooh. I owe her a makeup poem. Baba way, Baba way, oh, Baba way, Baba way, oh. my hands were anything other than hands, if my hands were anything other than hands, if my hands were anything other than hands, they would be two shooting stars galloping light across the galaxy. They would be a twin fandango of diamond-studded fingerprints hopscotching a radiant neon merengue of light. From each folded velvet edge of midnight into every tidy galaxy of 14-karat suns, my shooting star hands would reach and leap and turn the faces of every burning celestial pedestrian, star-grazed and gazing, bright-eyed, amazed, and awe-struck as my shooting star hands whip by in a flurry of pirouettes, spitting sparks and spilling light, like each finger is a silver Bic flip lighter flicking flames of hope into the open faces of those twinkling, pale, and incandescent sisters whose tears glisten and litter the blistering avenue like sequins. I say now, can you see it? How my shooting star hands would wow and bow them right out of their everyday orbits, turn their glowing dashboard Virgin Mary faces into an illuminated orchestra of rubies and gladiolas right before your very eyes. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be a street corner jazz quintet. They would be a 10-fingered symphony of saxophones, trombones, clarinets, and trumpets, wailing, rowdy, loud, and proud, right out from under my fingernails. The song would swell and sing. It would ring from the lampposts and reach into people's houses and bring mothers and sons come to dance in the middle of the street with fathers and daughters. And perhaps, if my hands were a big bad jazz band, there would be no vicious, evil, and cruel death on the avenue. There would be none of it, because I would send my fingers flying in a furious hurricane of eighth notes to just slap right into the faces of any slick-tongued, gun-toting mamma jamma who would come to steal my brother's breath. We would be all song and dance and celebration, just the way we are supposed to be. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be two magic wands. They would be 10 abracadabra fingers for me to bring back every bebop biscuit baking grandmother that we ever lost, every sweet and remarkable friend that we didn't realize was sweet or remarkable until death stole them from under our breath, or while we was looking over our shoulder at the bus stop, and then all of a sudden they were gone. And for a moment, if my hands were magic wands, I would bring them back. And for a moment, just a moment, we could have them and we could hold them. We could fold ourselves over their shoulders and we could tell them all of the things that we were too afraid to say. And for a moment, things would be so much gooder, so much better than ever before. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be an entire conversation of miracles for me to cure you of any cancer that ever ailed you. They would be a conjure woman's cupboard of spells and incantations, and I would reach right through your breastbone to ease your heartache. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be a tangible forgiveness that I could rub into your skin like lotion and have forgiveness leaping from person to person to person, more infectious than HIV and tuberculosis put together. If my hands were anything other than hands, they would be 2 turntables and a microphone. But mostly, if my hands were anything other than hands, they would be 2 shooting stars, galloping light across the galaxy. I would like one person who knows that they need a poem to come and give me a name, a color, and a purpose. And I'm gonna give the audience, I'm gonna give y'all 7 seconds. It's good to see you. Are you gonna keep your bag on?
How are you?
Good, it's good to see you.
Great.
Good, come have a seat. Y'all know who this is? I do. What's your name?
Joanna.
Where you live?
Helena, Montana.
All right now. Archie Bray. So, I need you to give me a name, a color, and a purpose. How are you?
I'm good. A name of anybody?
You can, anybody, anything. But make it count.
Okay. Nancy, Red, and what would be to have faith again.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. To have faith again. Okay. Can you say the words for me? Say the words for me another time.
Red, to have faith again.
Okay. Everything breaks. Scientists say that everything breaks and everything leaks. We are made to fall apart. We are made to splinter. We are made to go into pieces. And the powerful thing is that pieces don't mean that we are completely broken and bereft and without hope and without the possibility and without the capacity to rise up and be mosaicked back again into the pieces of something, create an entirely new dimension of possibility and perspective. Sometimes you got to get a different look at a thing. For on the inside of the inside of the inside, even on the inside of the inside of the inside of Nancy's perfectly, what color are her eyes? Of Nancy's perfectly, absolutely stunning hazel eyes, there is a truth that resides within broken splinters and the pieces of parts that you look at spread all around your life and wonder how you're going to get up in the morning sometimes and make do, how you're going to breathe, how you're going to look at the TV and see that another person was fired, that another person was shot and killed, that another little black boy in Austin, Texas, who played the double bass got killed just picking up his mail. It's too hard sometimes to find a way to go on. It's too difficult sometimes to reach for wings when things seem to be pieces shattering into more pieces and the pieces can't pick themselves up. Can they know? And that is why there are fingers on the inside of the inside of the inside of the inside through Nancy's perfectly hazel eyes to the hearth at the seat of the center of your very, very, very red soul. There is a key, and sometimes it is simply a forgiveness-shaped thing. There are keys on the inside of the inside of the inside of our lives. Sometimes you can find them on slices, on wrists. Sometimes you will find them in the wings that persist even when they are separated from the soul, from the body. I know that there is faith to be found, even though the pieces abound. Pick up the splinters and put them in your morning tea. Sip them, let them rise, to breathe light inside behind the breastbone. There is still a fight, there is still a flight, there is still a noise, will be a well and a seed of faith. You can call a thing up from the soles of your feet. I call a thing up from the soles of her feet to breed like new light behind Nancy's perfectly hazel eyes, to the inside of the inside of the inside of the seat of her soul, where the seeds of a new faith will unfold in the shape of a faith that has perhaps not ever shown itself to even be faith. But it is, and I suppose then, Joanna, that your hands are mirrors, and that there will come a time you will have to shine them right up to your people's faces, so that they can see themselves as immutably remarkable as they were made, so that no absence of faith makes one hate themselves to death ever again. It is a powerful thing to love. It is a powerful thing to surrender your faith to the gigantic mystery of love, to let it reveal itself in pieces, in specks, in little tiny bits of breath. One breath, one shine, one rise, one light, one day, one day, one day at a time. You're welcome. It's so good to see you. Does anybody in here dance? Y'all know what's gonna happen. I can't act like it's gonna be a surprise. I would just like to make a quick prayer for all the angry people, myself among them. It can be hard to be mad all the time, can it? Just to carry it around with you. You see one person's face and it'll be messing up your day. Be like, you walk around like this. I used to like Clay till I saw her. I don't want to make no pots today. What's her name is here. That was me earlier. As our wonderful keynote speaker, that was my improvisation of the rage that I once felt. Your friends over here have faith that you can dance. They believe in you. This is like that moment in Remember the Titans, where you don't think that they're gonna make it, and they. It's the state championship. We can make it. They're throwing the long ball, and here she is. The quarterback of Clay. Kritika. Is that your name?
Yes.
I like that name. That sounds like a good name to get mad at. Kritika did it. It was Y'all can, so critica can be used to release the constipated F words that you can't always say in public. So throughout the rest of the conference, if somebody messes with you and be like, I'm gonna critique you up. That's what you do. And if somebody messes with you and they walk by, just be like, critica? And then your friends will know, like, I know, I was critica. I was like, critica, critica, critica. You're okay. You gonna dance?
Sure.
Your friends have faith in you.
Sure.
You got your own, oh, honey, you're being filmed. I haven't seen that many iPhones since the last time I was in Silicon Valley. Honey, I love your laughter, but you're gonna be on YouTube, Snapchat, every platform. You got to dance, baby. You got to do it. We can. The people, you're the quarterback of clay. Critica. Critica, girl, come on. All right, you guys. Do you see her? She wrote it through. You're okay, so you're gonna dance.
Yes.
I just want you to take a couple deep breaths. What kind of dance do you do?
Indian.
Oh, and you're from Topeka, Kansas?
Yes.
You were born in India? Where were you born in India?
Mumbai.
Mumbai. What does it feel like to be in America and you hear people talk about anybody? You hear certain individuals, they go nameless. Critica. What does it feel like to hear people talk with such resistance to difference?
Sometimes it feels different, but I have great friends.
And
As you can tell.
I can tell.
To me, I think I have a lot of positive people in my life that it helps me to ignore the kind of negligence
The
or
critiquing.
ignorance. Yeah.
Just-
So I'm really grateful to have people like them.
You are
and
lucky.
two over here.
You're lucky. Because your friendship will sustain you.
Yes.
It will sustain you. You're a student member?
Yes.
Where do you student?
I go to Washburn University.
All right, Washburn University. I know all I know is the name.
Yes.
Now. All right, so you're gonna. I love your laugh. Is anybody here feeling lonely? Because you can join Critica's friend group. There's much joy. I feel like these are very welcoming people. I'm gonna read a poem. And I want you to give yourself full permission to stop and leave the stage when you're done, okay? But what I would also say is that you trust your instincts, trust your heart, trust your body. Isn't that like one of the things that we do as artists? We have to go to that place where you just trust it. You just trust it. You take a deep breath, you feel it, you move with it. And you're at a university where you're supposed to have answers, huh? You know, it just don't work like that sometimes. So I want you to use something that I call the technology of your soul, right? So your friends got all their technology that needs to be plugged in. I'm gonna ask you to go to where Joanna took us, to the inside of the inside of the inside, to the marrow of your bones where all of your people are present, like your ancestors, your DNA is present there. And trust your heart, trust your instincts, trust your body, trust your breath. And when you wanna walk, go and sit down. I'm gonna start. After you dance for 15 seconds, I'm gonna look at the clock. So you're actually gonna start, then I'm gonna begin when you're already moving. You have faith? All right, I dig you. Your people are lucky. All right. Critica is now the new word for I dig you. We're gonna give another word for that. Okay. All right.
Start?
Yeah. Freedom is the sound of the loud man drunk on the sun, drunk in the sun, head tilted back, face arched to the sky, like he is the saxophone, and Jesus is the Miles to the Davis, and the tune is improvisational. Like a Saturday afternoon whistle just wandering down the street. Freedom is like I could just walk out into the street and scream out for the whole world to hear. Everyone is made to dance. A waltz, a dirge, a rise-up song so high that even the high-rises would just rise up and lean into the dance, like a long woman exercising the pull and stretch of her rib bones. Everyone is made to dance. I would scream it out, and I wouldn't take it back. Not a word, not a single verb. I would just let the rhythm come tumbling off my tongue and into the sky around my face like a flurry of medicinal birds come to change the air with their flap dance and song. And perhaps all of that would look a little crazy. Perhaps all of the normal three-piece suit, cell phone talking on people would just walk by me confused, but a little bit inspired. And maybe, just maybe, they would begin to reach out their hand to take my hand to dance with me, but they'd stop themselves. They would stop themselves. And they would think to themselves in their heads, they would say, "Who does she think she is?" And I would hear that thought in their head, and I would say, "I am you. And I think you are amazing, really, I do. I think that you are fantastic, truly. You are so fly. I mean, you are infinitely more amazing than anything that could ever be bought in a store. You are dope. Can I have your phone number? Do you want to dance?" I believe that instead of going to war, we should dance. We should just gather up the disputing nations, countries, and territories and have them face off in a battle of choreographers, soundscapes, and set design. That way, war would just look like West Side Story. It would be a battle of leaps and lyrics, your artists against ours. It would be your job to make us weep, make the ground beneath our feet tremble and shake with the ovation. There would be no winners or losers, only soul-shaking, soul-stirring, exhausting performances. And people would only be killed in battle on stage. And at the end of the show, everyone who fell down and died, all of the little 3-year-olds who washed ashore some Mediterranean island fleeing Syria, all of the little black boys who got gunned down by the police, who never got charged, all the black trans women who got killed and then misgendered in the newspaper, All of the little black kids that get killed in hoods all over this country all the time that nobody ever walks out for. At the end of the show, all of them, they would just stand up and they would take a bow. And we would rise to our feet like you all just did. And we would scream and we would shout and we would say, "Oh my God!" when they killed you. I couldn't take it. And then, don't you see? If we did war this way, things would be so much gooder, so much better than ever before. I mean, there would be no more homophobia because some of the world's best choreographers would be gay. Like Jerome Robbins and Alvin Ailey. People would just walk around all the time talking about use your space, people. Use your space. And then gay people everywhere, they would just be seen as national treasures.
Yes.
And every little second grader with a good idea would be recognized as the visionary that they are. And then the arts. The arts would get more funding in the schools and in the city streets because the National Endowment for the Arts would become the Department of Defense. It makes so much sense when you think about it. So rise as in the sun. Dance with me. Get up from whence you was and come on. Move forward. Put one foot in front of the other and say something nice if you want to. And if you don't feel like saying nice things, then feel free to tell the truth and then tell the story and then retell the story, then re-story the story and rise. Good job. Thank you. You did a good job. She's a great sport, isn't she? I'm going to say goodnight now. I'm going to say goodnight by telling you about my mom who died 3 years ago. And as a blessing and an obstacle remover, for whatever obstacle lies inside of you that prevents you from creating your most fearless, your most boundless, your most imagination spreading of the horizon of your ideas, whatever prevents you from going to the next place, from pushing and challenging yourself as white people, as human beings, as artists, here for a removal of all the obstacles that make us believe that our differences matter so much and that our fears ought to be honored as much as we honor our fears. My mother was the first real thug that I knew. She drew and grew a slew of ruthless and wild-winged weapons from the swell of her hips. She raised us up and she aimed our faces to the stars. She said, "See, there you are, shining back at yourself from a billion brilliant light years away." And isn't that amazing that you came all of this way to stand in the light of your own shine? So don't believe them when they tell you that the very best that you can do and be is prettier than the rest of the girls, or cute enough to die trying for it, because those are lies. The truth is, there is an entire universe of ideas alive inside of you right now, and they are spinning on the axis of your breath. So rise and let them out. And after I am gone, when trouble comes, when you don't want to wake up in the morning anymore, when the mailman calls you nigger, when the things that happen to you try to eviscerate your soul, I can give you this to hold on to as a way to make a life. My mother said, be creative and be brave. That way, when people try to stop you, that way, when things come to suffocate the breath of your soul, you'll find that you have both the guts and the good ideas with which to make changes. She said, be creative and be brave. That is a way to make a life. So to you all, be more creative and be more brave. Be more loving. Be more vulnerable. It is from those places that you will be able to create a future where all human beings have the capacity to be as dimensionally human as they dare to be. And we are, after all, here together. We earthlings, 99.9% genetically identical. Turn to the person next to you and say, hello, kin. Be creative and be brave. That way, when things try to stop you, try to suffocate the soul of your breath, you'll find that you have both the guts and the good ideas with which to make changes. And we must make creative changes. Now is the time. Thanks, y'all. Thanks to everyone who came and got on stage. Thanks, Kritika and Kritika's crew from Washburn. Thank Miguel and his baby leather jacket. Thanks to the sister who I accidentally made fall. I love you. Y'all have a good night. Be safe. Be better tomorrow than you were today. Oh, hi, Glenn. Oh, Glenn is handsome. Bye, y'all.